Alrighty, SMML fans. This is Vader, Goof on your top right, Ramos on your top left, and we're going to do a live mock draft for the 2025 SMML draft. I figured we'd get our gilded members that seem to know what they're doing and see what they got to say. Number one is going to be Mess with the Eagles. Who you guys got?
I think I went ahead and settled on that edge, James Woodard here. Um, from what I understand, it looks like the Eagles are still kind of running like a 4-3. They have a pretty strong team overall. I think their secondary is pretty good. They have a hole at safety, but I don't really see a safety going at number one here, especially since there's a good few of them. I think they could probably look to get one in round two. Um, but I do think they could probably use some help at edge. They I mean, there's a potential that they could put Nolan Smith back at edge, but there aren't really a lot of good linebackers this early from what the class is looking like. So getting some help for Kyron Smith could be a good idea for them.
Yeah,
I think James Woodard is probably the best edge prospect.
yeah, I was considering their needs because they're pretty loaded everywhere. Tight end, edge, free safety. Ramos, what do you think?
I actually agree. I considered one of the top corners, but looking at his cornerback room, some of them are aging, but they're still good quality corners. Plus two young guys who are starters, and there's just a draft of talent out at edge. Even with Johnson, he's a bit older and not. And he has really good physicals, but he's not very refined. But I think so. I think Woodard would be a good bookend with his physicals and his finesse ability.
Alrighty, Woodard is the pick at edge for the Eagles. Number two is coming up. It's going to be the San Francisco 49ers and RJ. And it looks like their needs are going to be wide receiver, left tackle, interior defensive line, and maybe a corner.
I
I'll
think their
start from
corners are all right. But
uh,
if Ramos wanted to go first, he
Yeah.
can.
yeah. I was thinking the receivers are fine, especially with Kittle there. And Kittle's one of his top targets usually in
He
general.
has been on the trade block since SML started.
Mm. It has been, but I don't know if anyone will bite on that with the
Notoriously
price.
difficult trade.
Yeah. So I think there's no at this point the only thing that makes sense for him is an elite corner with some of the high top end talent at corner position when he has some decent but not great guys. I think he'll go Rashad White. He's not the most physically gifted corner while still being gifted physically, but he's the most refined. He can press, he plays outside, he can get off blocks with receivers, and he can make big hits. And he'll be able to lock down any receiver in man or zone.
Who you like, Goof?
It was kind of tough for me to decide. I think Rashad White would probably be the best player here, but he does have a hole at left tackle, and I can't ignore Daniel Schaefer. I think he looks really good as like a pure pass protector, and he also has some good run blocking ability to coach up. Initially, I did have him, though. I think if he was trading all the way up to two, it's very possible he could still be going after White or one of the top corners here. If
He
you're going to trade up that much and trade Debo,
he does
probably
have
getting the best player.
three picks here in the first round with the depth at corner. Do you think that sways his choice, or do you think White's that good?
If he has three first rounders, he could probably get White here and then probably get some better or some other position players later in the
Yeah.
round.
I think White is just far and away the best corner in the draft. He has that mix of physicality and athleticism combined with really top notch technique.
All right, White cornerback is the pick. At number three, we have Tonto and the Falcons. Looking at their lineup, they got needs all over the place. Wide receiver, quarterback, maybe. Depends on how committed he is to Ritter. Tight end, center, right tackle, edge. He could also be looking at a corner.
I think I would probably say Sean Cobb is the pick here, given really good 40 he had, also very good coverage ability. Not quite as good as a tackle as Rashad White, but with the speed, I think he can probably stay with a lot of the other faster receivers in this league. And you know how it is. A lot of people value speed in this league, especially with a guy who can kind of cover any way you want, like Cobb can. He's got pretty good press, great man coverage, pretty good zone coverage. He can really stick with anybody. So I think a lot of people would value that. Um, Say probably him. He's probably the one of the better players available at this point.
Concur, champ.
Yeah, I concur with Cobb. Cobb's definitely the second best corner, and he has youth. Sancho has youth at two spots in corner, but I think Cobb at the third can just kind of knock it. And I know he has multiple first rounds again too, so he can kind of fill in as needed later in the first with his 3 first rounders
Yeah, not
and
not
just
only
get
that,
a elite corner.
he's also got Sertan on the block, unless
Mhm.
he's already been traded.
He's been traded.
Has he been traded? All right.
Yeah,
All right, so we
he
got
is.
Cobb at number 3. Moving on to number 4, the Detroit Lions. Uh, who's the owner on the Lions?
I think someone new came in because Tottenham Dan is gone, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Well,
Someone new is in there.
that's my bad for not being prepared. Lions, they also had a few more needs in some of these teams. Probably looking at quarterback. Could see the first
Yeah,
one go here. Wide receiver,
Hmm.
tight end, defensive tackle, linebacker, cornerback. But let's be honest, this wide receiver class is booty. I would be surprised if we have one go off the board. So you guys are welcome to surprise me. What do you think here, Goof?
I would see them addressing quarterback. It would probably be a little bit of a reach. I'm not really impressed by a lot of the quarterbacks in this class, but I think when you have a need at quarterback, probably go get one. I don't really have faith in Hendon Hooker this late in his career to really develop any more than he already has. So, best quarterback I saw, at least for this early, was probably Jack Atkinson. He has at least the most consistent accuracies between short, medium, and deep. And I think, given his ability to at least operate better under pressure than the other two guys this early, I think he's probably the pick. He has pretty good throwing on the run, pretty good throwing under pressure. Also has some speed relative to some of the other guys, about 4.67. It's pretty solid, at least for pocket mobility. I think he has at least the
That's good
best
enough to
overall
scramble every
athleticism
once
out
in a
of
while.
anybody there. Yeah,
Yeah. Wait,
probably Atkinson at 4.
any disagreements? Any disagreement, Ramos?
No, it's gotta be Atkinson. He may not have the like full quarterback body like Mark Weeks has, but Atkinson's just cool under pressure, and he's more consistent in his throwing motion.
All right. Atkinson at number 4 to the Lions. Number 5, we got Shock and the Broncos. Again, not a lot of holes here. Um,
Yeah, this one was hard to figure out.
uh,
Hmm.
just based on what depth he might be looking at. Tight end, he could use an interior lineman, maybe something on the second level there with the defense linebacker. Again, I don't know if we have anybody in the class, rated. It's going to be rated high enough to go number 5 at linebacker. But what do you think, Ramos? Where are we going with the Broncos?
This one was hard to think of because he has at least serviceable players everywhere. Like wide receiver, he's pretty stacked up. But again, wide receiver, there's no wide receivers that are going in the top 10 here in this draft. No running backs either. He has his quarterback of the future. I think he ends up going. I think he ends up going best player available and takes one of the other top corners. I think he goes George Macy. He's this.
Actually, I have a kind of surprising pick. Given that he had kind of strength everywhere, or at least a lot of good players on a per position basis, I looked kind of just generally at his units or like what his specialties are at his like his groups or whatever, and I generally thought his edge or his overall pass rush was kind of lacking. He has an edge rusher who has like maybe 79 power moves, and then he has one good pass rushing defensive tackle, but the other one was kind of iffy. I think overall he could stand to improve his pass rush, and I thought with Woodard gone, probably the next best option would actually be Darrell Stevenson, that defensive tackle. He has good finesse moves and power moves. Pretty solid tackling. The block shed is not crazy, but I think overall he's going to be a really good rush defensive tackle as compared to like his second option. And overall, that might help some of his other edge guys do better in the next season. So I think that would improve his pass rushing unit as a whole, and that might be something that would help him with a defense that kind of struggled last season. So
If you guys don't agree, I'm gonna have to break the tie, and I think like he's pretty good at corner. I think he needed more interior D line. So
I think he has a
uh,
really good secondary to start with.
yeah, it's just I mean he's just gonna keep trading. So we'll go with Stevenson at D tackle, and then that brings us up to number 6, the Texans. Everybody's favorite, Danny Boy. Uh, Texans. They got some weaknesses at wide receiver, like a lot of teams. This is not the draft again. Edge, 3 tech next to Jordan Davis, and he could also look at a corner here.
I think, assuming Massey is not gone by 6, I think he's gone here. If he's not gone before 6, I think he's gone here.
Yep.
Okay.
Ramos,
I'm going.
you going a
I'm going a
different direction?
different. Yeah, I'm going a different direction.
We like it. We
I
like it.
think his corners aren't great, but I believe the biggest weakness of the Texans last year was just the offensive line could not do anything. Like they couldn't make holes in the run game, they couldn't hold up in the pass game. And Danny Boy is a coach. He loves the verts. He loves going deep. I think, especially his interior offensive line was weak. I think he's going to go Chauncey Stark.
I think he's good. I like Stark though. Is there his O line was who's he have in his O line? He's like I thought he looked pretty good. I was looking through that earlier. I thought his O line was solid.
No, it's not. It's solid. It's okay, and it's not. It's not as good as it seems.
Let me let me look at this again.
So you're an
So he's got
advocate of
Tunzel.
drafting a guard at number 6?
Yes, I love this guard.
He's got
I
Nathan
think
Devlin at left guard, who he just drafted and is pretty solid at pass protection. Dalton Risner, he just signed, I believe. Shaq Mason, right guard. Jarek
but
Wills, he just signed.
his big
Yeah, he
issue.
addressed it in free agency.
Yeah, it looks
I
like
don't
he
know.
signed some guys already.
I still think his run blocking is going to be weak, especially from Reisner. And Stark has flexibility, can play all along the line. I really like Stark.
Especially in
I feel
Madden.
like to put all that money into a position group and then draft there with other needs is a little strange especially because I think the O line depth is pretty good compared to most other class or to most other positions. Like if I was the Texans, I would either be probably drafting corner or edge. I would think,
Or trading back.
or trading back.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
We're
Me
not, but
personally, I don't really. Greedy Williams is solid. He's pretty balanced, but I don't know if I would trust him fully as the nickel. Um, I would probably have Greedy. If it was me, I would have Greedy Williams as like the dime corner, and then get another guy to be a real starting nickel. I think Massey just kind of provides the best insurance for that.
I hate to
No,
do it with you again, Ramos, but I gotta agree. Corner's a bigger need, and he just spent a ton of money signing Wills and
Not to mention, Jags just signed Amon Ra, so they gotta the offenses are getting better, passing wise.
but not
You
only
got
that, you're
Dark on the
playing
Colts,
Dark, and Dark loves his posts and corner routes with his tight end. So you just flip
and then
the
Titans also like to throw the ball deep.
yeah, and he's going to a tight end a lot. So you're going to be a nickel. You're going to want a nickel corner who can run with these tight ends in the division. You're not mad at me, I hope, Ramos, but I gotta disagree.
no, I totally understand. I understand going Macy because I like Macy.
Oh,
I just
you're just going shock jock here. I get it.
a little bit, but also I really love Stark, and I've seen Danny Boy's O line in action, and he cannot make a hole in the run game to save his life.
We had surprises last year. I mean, we had a center going at number 5. So I mean, stranger things have happened, but I do think Massey is a bit more likely here.
All right, we're gonna go Massey at cornerback to the Texans. And just in the interest of time, maybe we speed it up just a little. Is that okay, fellas?
Yeah, that's
I
good.
know you guys got other engagements later, and I gotta get my kids to bed in 43 minutes. Uh, so that being said, we got Cowboys at number 7. They have an enormous hole left by dancing Dak Prescott. Where's Broski going to go? QB, he could take another corner. He could use some help on the interior defensive line next to, what is it, Maisie Smith?
I
Just,
think his interior, at least for the first two downs, is pretty good. He could maybe add some interior pass rush, but I do kind of like the depth there. I mean, he could go Tremaine Weaver at number 5, but I think, excuse me, I think addressing quarterback is still pretty important, especially given that there's not a lot of depth. I would call it a reach to take Michael Ellerby, but I don't know if he has many options unless he intends to use Duggan for the year. It's hard to say. Um, I'm split between Ellerby or maybe Jermaine Weaver.
I'm gonna go. Again, a little bit shock jockey, but because he's going after him in free agency, Jimmy Barber, the
What
tight end
end?
from Michigan. The tight
name?
end from Michigan. 6'6", just an absolute physical monster.
Yeah, he can move. But
He
here,
can
why don't
move.
why don't we just let him fall to 13? Is there anything wrong with that? At least
I
let me get him in the fantasy.
no, Jimmy Barber's a monster.
Yeah, I'm
Not often a tight end goes this early, but he is looking pretty good. Although I thought I
Six
remember
six.
the Cowboys
you
having
got
pretty solid tight ends.
He is Ferguson is his best tight end, which is meh.
Yeah,
Got
I'm not gonna
Schumacher.
lie. I like the tight end here. Although you guys are crazy for not going quarterback.
He's going after Dak in free agency right now.
He is okay. So, well, assuming he gets that, could see tight end.
Give him a new toy.
Yeah, Barber's just insane.
All right, I
Yeah,
like that pick.
sure. Why not?
We'll go Barber tight end. Number 8, back to the Falcons and Tonto. All his
He took.
maneuvering.
Where
Let's
did we
see. We
take? Where do we have
took
him taken?
Cobb, the cornerback. He could
Okay.
also use a QB if he's not trusting Ritter. Again, wide
If he,
receiver. He
I
could
don't
use
think
some
any
offensive
quarterback.
line.
I don't think any quarterback that he drafts at this point would be better than Ritter.
No,
Yeah.
unlikely.
Or his backup.
His interior, like he could use a center, he could use a tackle, he could use an edge.
Oh, he
He could get
has.
a tight end, honestly.
Yeah,
Needs
he could
off.
use a
He
tight
also
end.
needs interior. He needs interior offensive line as well.
That he
So we go
does.
right back to your boy.
Yeah.
Could also use. Well, he's got tackles. Um, I'm just looking at his roster again. So he would have gotten a corner. His safeties are pretty good.
He doesn't
Could
really
go
have an.
interior.
He doesn't have a
Could go
second
tight
edge.
end.
He doesn't have a second edge either.
Uh,
Yeah, he's
I don't
got
know
a
if there's
one
another
edge.
edge I would take this early. Let me see.
Let's see, we got Woodard,
Because there was
White,
that other
Cobb,
tight end,
Atkinson, Stevenson, Massey, and Barber.
I can see
Billy
Marcus
Hamels
Wallace.
looks pretty good.
Marcus Wallace looks solid.
Who's Marcus Wallace? Is that?
Left outside linebacker.
See, if
I
I
saw him. His athleticism didn't really impress me so much.
if you move him
I
He
s-
doesn't
down the
have.
line though, he'd be okay.
yeah. And he run
Yeah.
yeah.
So Marcus Wallace or your guard.
hmm
I'd say between those two, probably Wallace.
Yeah. All right, we can go Wallace.
If you need an edge,
He
you need
doesn't.
an edge.
He needs an edge.
All right, number 9, everybody's favorite admin and commish is Ello with the Steelers. Steelers also have another roster that's pretty solid top to bottom.
They
Uh,
generally always have a good defense.
yeah,
Yep.
they could use some depth behind some of their aging players, but I would really had trouble trying to find it. But definitely Pickett could be upgraded. They could use another wide receiver. somebody to step in when
Oh,
Hayward
yeah.
is gone. Another corner. He's got some tough passing offenses in his division.
Mhm.
Not to toot my own horn. And then safety, maybe.
I think they could go safety here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
safety. They need someone but next to Fitzpatrick.
I mean that
And
helps out their run defense, their pass defense.
if they're going safety, I think there's only really one choice:
David Lowry.
David Lowry.
Yeah. You sure
He's
he can't drop to 13?
he has like
Yes.
the size of a sub linebacker, but the coverage ability of a corner.
Yeah.
He's nice.
All right, number 10 is Benny, our Rams
Benny.
owner. He had a lot of holes. Uh, Offensive line, left tackle, right guard. He could definitely take a corner. Um, he
He needs
needs,
everything.
yeah, his roster's pretty thin. So there's not a I don't know that there's a bad position choice here. Definitely could be a
Yeah.
bad pick, but not a bad choice.
Well, if Schaefer's not gone by this point, I think he could go here. I think he's still the best tackle in the group.
Yeah, he looked
Yeah, I can see
sharp.
Schaefer going.
Schaefer. All right.
Yeah, Schaefer.
Go left
He
tackle
needs
Schaefer.
he needs a left tackle.
All right. And Darth Leak. He's not the real Sith. The Vader is. He has got the Jags. Jags, another team, not a ton of needs, but they could go interior line. They need a center and a right guard. They could go edge. Um, another team, it could use maybe a safety box style.
He needs a sec. No, he has Devon Hamilton. Yeah, he needs edge. No, he's a 3-4. He's a 3-4, right?
Right. Yeah. So somebody on the other side of
Okay.
Allen. And he's got Walker at defensive tackle for some absurd
Yeah.
reason.
Um, his offensive line is mediocre at best. What do you
Let me
think,
take a
Goof?
minute. I honestly was not able to get as much of a look at the Jags as I would like to. They just got Likely. They signed
Yeah,
Banks at guard. They got Fry kind of coming in at center.
they don't have
They
a right
could
guard though.
they could move Fortner to right guard, but probably be a little risky doing that.
Yeah.
Maybe let's see. I mean, they're still doing a 3-4, right? So
Yeah.
if
They need
anything,
a.
I could probably see them moving one of their D tackles over to right end, and then maybe going. Let's see. He's still missing an
Yeah,
outside linebacker.
he needs an edge.
Yeah.
He needs an edge, and
He could. I
I
mean,
don't know if
if
he
it was
drops that high.
me, I would probably move Trevon Walker back out to edge, but I mean, he could still stand to add to that. He could maybe still go O line. He could get a safety, or no, he's got Justin Cook there.
Yeah, he's fine.
So
He
I'd say
hasn't.
probably O line or edge here.
Yeah. Is there any edges left worth
So already we
taking?
have the two probably best ones off the board.
Yeah.
For one to for 11, it's hard to say if there's really another one worth it at that spot.
Yeah.
Um, Benjamin Jackson is a all right block shed. Like he's an all right run defender. I don't know if he's really that difference maker at
Hmm.
you know edge rusher that you really want at 11. There's a few other guys who are all right situational pass rushers, but not really all that full faceted to go early. Um,
I think O line then.
I would say probably O line. If we're looking at
And
interior, maybe Chauncey Stark or Nick Leonard,
yeah,
but
Chauncey Stark.
Chauncey Stark's probably the better option there.
Chauncey Stark is a freak.
All right, and at number 12, back to Mez. Again, Mez is just in a situation where he can just pick the best player available.
I
Where we
mean,
go, he went edge first,
he
so
can go corner.
yeah, he could get another corner. He could use a safety, or he could get
He
another
does need
tight
a
end.
safety.
I,
So
I
if
I'm thinking
Lowry,
safety tight end probably is the most likely
Yeah.
based on depth.
I would
Who's a
say if
projected
Lowry's
starter?
already gone, I would say probably Lawrence Hillman's looking pretty good. He's got good athleticism, good play rec, good man coverage, so he can play all three downs. Um, C in zone coverage, but that can be coached up, and it's not bad to start with. Good awareness for
Yeah,
the field, has some pass
yeah,
rushing ability, good tackler. I think he could go here at
yeah.
12.
I think so too. Hillman is good.
All right, Hillman at 12. And is he free or strong?
He is
Free.
a free safety.
Free. All right. And number 13, Who Day? Vader and the Bengals. Who am I taking?
Mm. You need a tight end.
There was
I
that
think you're
other
going.
tight end,
I think you're
Battles
going
or
to take
whatever his name was,
I mean,
Hales.
I can
Billy
tell you
Hamel.
what I thought my needs were: tight end, defensive tackle, corner.
I
So we
think
have
you is Macy
Hamels.
on the board.
No, he was off at 6.
All right, I think you're gonna go Hamels.
There's Hamels and there's Tremaine Weaver available here. Um,
I think
Hamels.
he
I
goes
don't I don't know him.
Tremaine Weaver,
6.
he's at the top
No,
of the
no,
D
we
tackle.
we Weaver. I know.
Hamels
Ham.
is number 2 on the tight end board. He is
Yeah.
pretty good blocker, has good deep running ability, like overall good routes, good catch in traffic, so he can win the contested catches.
Mhm.
All like very good at jumping. He's pretty agile for a tight end. Both good both in pass blocking and run blocking. Only
He
real
just
knock I can put on him is maybe he's not going to be breaking as many tackles as you would like,
yeah,
but I
he's
think he's
gonna
a good vertical
yeah, he'll
threat.
get upfield. He can block. He can get upfield and make catches, and he can block better than you would expect a tight end like that to do.
I do have a starting tight end, so this would be a second tight end. And you like Hamels number 13?
I mean,
Yeah,
if you already got a starting tight end, I would probably say Tremaine Weaver for D tackle because if you're running like a 4-3,
yeah,
then you want two of them to go with, and Tremaine Weaver can play every down.
Yeah,
yeah,
He's a good run stopper.
yeah.
yeah.
If
We will do.
I'm not gonna lie to you, this is a dream scenario. So
So I'd say Tremaine
Weaver
Weaver.
Weaver to the Bengals, number
Yeah,
14 Dolphins. That is our one of our new owners coming over from Xbox.
he needs a
Sickness.
quarterback.
Sickness could use a quarterback, a wide receiver. He could also go tight end. He could also use the safety. Uh, new owners come in. It's
I
tough to
think
know
he needs.
what direction they like to go.
I think he just needs a quarterback.
If they're gonna have to get a quarterback, probably Michael Ellerby here.
Yeah, Michael Ellaby's.
Ellerby.
Yeah, he's good deep and mid, and his short accuracy is not can improve.
All right. And
There's a
15.
place where
Go ahead.
if there's a place where like a strong arm quarterback is gonna be, at least Miami has some good fast receivers.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah, they do. Let's see. 49ers, RJ again. 49ers, another one of those teams, don't have a whole lot of needs.
Yeah.
At number 2, we went with White, the
Yep.
all-world cornerback. They could also use wide receiver. They could go tackle. They could use some interior
Tackle.
defensive line.
If they need a tackle, I think they can go. Wait, Ross McCarthy is very technically sound.
Ross McCarthy does look pretty good. He's a little bit weaker than many people would like, but I think for a pass protector, having all A's and everything, really good
Yeah,
impact blocking and lead blocking to at least still make a difference in the run game, and then at least B or at least C's if not a B for some of his run ability. I think very technically sound, like you said. I think he'll be a plug and play option. I think he could definitely go at 15.
yeah, for sure.
McCarthy, the tackle.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he also has he's maybe a bit weaker, but he can move.
All right, 16, Chiefs owner.
Chief.
Why?
Yeah,
We've had a couple of
like
different Chiefs owners. That's my problem.
it's the Lincoln guy now.
Lincoln, yeah, yeah, he's been fun in chat. Uh, where's Link gonna go at 16? He's also coming up again at 23. If that affects your decisions, he could use a wide receiver, even though he's trying to trade uh, Metcalf. He could go interior D line. replace Jones that previous owner traded season before. He could go corner. He could use a safety.
Yeah.
I think the top two safeties are already off the board. I don't really know if there's another one I would like for this spot, frankly. I think Shamari Connor is at least fairly balanced in what he can do. I think he could at least be a bridge safety here, especially with Cook also being there to back him up. Does need a linebacker, but there aren't really any good coverage linebacker options. Edge is pretty good.
One person I like is Patrick Street,
What's his position?
defensive
He's
tackle.
defensive tackle. He's got like a 43 bench press.
Yeah.
Solid.
He's not.
Yeah,
He's not. He could use some development, but his physicals are.
And already he's good at, he can recognize plays and he can get off a block.
Yeah, he's more of your nose tackle type.
Yeah, nose tackle type with pass rush upside because he's fast.
And let's be honest, in that division, number one goal
You need to stop the run.
Stop Ramos from holding.
They still have Naughty as the defensive, as like kind of more that nose tackle kind of guy.
But Nani doesn't have pass rush upside.
No, he does not. So I think if they would get something, they would definitely need kind of interior pass rush here.
And Street can get that with Camp easily, and he's fast and accelerates quickly.
Mm-hmm.
My pick is Street.
You want to go a different direction, Goof?
I think it's a possibility that he could get Streets, although I think Naughty would already kind of be penciled in as a defensive tackle starter. I could also see them maybe getting a tight end here to possibly add into their receiving game. Maybe they could play Kelsey in the slot since they have maybe a 1 and 2 receiver, but not really that kind of surefire number 3 guy. I kind of like Hamels here as a possible tight end option to add in. Also potentially Lane Trout also looked pretty good. He was pretty fast. He's got some good route running ability, good catch in traffic. I think overall, if he wants to add more weapons to his passing game, especially with the possibility of trading Metcalf, I kind of like tight end here.
I mean, I'm not going to disagree with you that tight end could definitely be a pick, but I think Street's going to be a better player.
Fair enough.
So we'll go that direction. Moving on to number 17, Cap.
Is there anyone from Clemson?
I mean, they will be when he's done with them. Let's see. The Browns, another team. They're. Wait a minute. I wrote down the Browns didn't have a pick. The Bears. Excuse me.
Oh, so it's the Bears? Okay.
Yeah, that's the Bears pick. I don't know why I wrote Browns. Still, we love you, Cap.
Overall, have a pretty solid team.
Yep, that's
pretty
JJ.
good O-line.
JJ's good. He's nice.
Pretty good edge rushing group. Solid D-line overall.
Yeah, I wrote
good down. Linebackers, good secondary. They could maybe use a safety, but I don't know if there's one that I would give them here.
Right, I had safety, defensive interior, and maybe a tight end. He's done a good job building his team.
Yeah, he had a pretty promising start last year. It didn't pan out in the end, but there's definitely a lot to build on.
Yeah.
There is a possibility he could still go safety. I think Melvin Barber looks pretty solid. He could potentially go here at 17.
Melvin Barber's nice.
He's balanced in the coverage game, not quite where you want it to be, not quite as fast as you would like, but he is a pretty well-rounded player. He hits hard, tackles well, good eye for the field. I think he could potentially go here if he wants a starting safety.
Yeah.
Especially since his current option is Joanne Williams, who's a converted corner. So
another safety option is Junior Patton, strong safety.
I question his tackling ability. He's a bit faster, but I
think he's faster and more agile in the field.
It's possible. I me personally, I just kind of question the tackling ability. I feel like if you're getting a safety, you want him to be a pretty good tackler.
I'm gonna go
I
Patton.
Patton.
I would say
Yeah.
Barber, but if you want to break the tie,
Yeah, I liked Patton.
okay.
All right, and then number 18, we're gonna go with the Jets and Django. Let's see, the Jets. They've got a needed QB. They've probably got some bids out on somebody. They need wide receiver, maybe a left guard. They could also go edge, and then one of the many teams that's happy that this
No, I think
class is loaded with corners.
I think he's fine at guard because he has two good centers. He can just move one to guard.
He could also use. I don't know if you already said interior D line.
Yeah,
Yeah, he needs someone next
Definitely could
Quinn
use
with.
that.
Oh, is he's a 3-4 or 4-3?
I think like I think he's a
just
4-3.
look at his
Yeah,
Yeah,
linebackers.
he's a
yeah, he's a
4-3.
4-3.
Yeah, yeah, he needs
Uh,
someone next to Williams.
there's no quarterback at this point that I would take. With the first two off the board, not
Yeah,
this early.
Yeah, you probably won't see many of them go until day 3.
There's definitely still a few corners that I would consider taking here. I think Emmett Harding looks pretty good.
Evan Harding. Yeah, Evan Harding's. I like Harding. Harding can definitely. Yeah, Harding will go here.
Harding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All
The only
right.
downside is that he has injury history, but who cares?
Number 19 is, I believe it's Dave's with the Panthers.
Yep.
Panthers.
And Panthers, I've got, they could use interior offensive line, off-ball linebacker, edge, and again, corner. You could see more corners. Could have a run on them here.
Well, as far as corners go, there's not really many others I really like for the first round. I do see Eric Teague as a possibility, and also Dante Simmons actually looks pretty good. Although he looks kind of like a pure man coverage, man press kind of guy, and he's pretty fast as well. Not the best jumper, could be a little bit quicker than he is fast.
More of a liability on the outside.
He's certainly fast to the outside. It just is his turn ability is a little bit questionable, but I think overall he's still a pretty good corner to have out there. I think Dante Simmons could go here.
Was it? I don't think Simmons just because he's a bit smaller. I
He's
think
got
it would
good
210
be
size.
pounds.
5'11".
It's about. I mean, it's not crazy, but it's not bad. I'd say it's about average for
Yeah, I
corners.
like Eric Teague here just because of his bigger build, and Teague is all around good.
I'm gonna have to go
Again,
with
I
Simmons on this one.
I don't really like his tackling. I think Dante Simmons is higher upside. He's really good press, really good man coverage. Also has soft hands,
All right, we're gonna go
and he's a
Simmons.
better tackler.
Simmons at quarterback. Everybody's favorite league owner, Darkman. It's coming up next at number 20. Colts again, another well-built team. Not a lot of holes. They could use a pass rushing three tech, maybe a center, maybe a left tackle if they think somebody's going to be better than who they got there now, whose name escapes me. He's
Bernard Ryman, I would assume.
yeah, he's young though, so he might
Ryman's
be
pretty good.
developing them.
Looks like he's got some good receivers now. Pretty good running back group.
Yeah,
Eric
not a lot of
Kelly
holes.
is still a good starter for this season. I don't know if they jump to make a center pick right now.
No.
I mean, let's be honest. A lot of us aren't even picking starters
That
anymore.
is
Yeah.
true.
And we're getting into the playoff teams now, so you're going to find that to be more true as we
Yeah, he
move.
does have a really good team. It is really hard to pick like who he would even get here. He's already got depth for a lot of these guys. Yeah, he could maybe go center here if he's looking to replace an older guy.
I mean, he loves Jelani Wood, so he probably won't replace him, even though there's some good tight ends left.
No. Yeah, I could maybe see him going interior of the line here.
Yeah, who's left there?
I believe there was a pretty good pass protecting center in there.
Chris Turner.
I think Devonta Gregory actually looked pretty good.
Turner has A and B. Gregory's
He
slightly worse in
He's
pass blocking, I
34 in the
think.
bench press. He's not as good of a run blocker, but he is generally, he's a smart player, has a good lead block for a pass
Yeah,
protector, really good impact blocking for someone of that archetype.
yeah,
And
no, yeah. I
Dark,
can. It's
he
definitely a
he
top.
does both. He doesn't pass 40 times a game and run 12. He'll do 20 and
Yeah,
20.
I think it's just a toss up between Gregory and Turner. They're kind of the same for me.
He could also go Nick Leonard at guard and then move him over to center. He's not as
True.
good with his physicals, but he is AAA for his pass blocking ability and can be molded into a better run blocker because he has C's in both, and then a B overall run block. I think actually I kind of like Leonard for this pick.
Leonard,
Oh yeah, no, I
Yeah, he
agree.
has the size of a center, but
Leonard for sure.
could be played anywhere
and
really
he's a guard.
in the interior. Yeah, he's
Yeah,
left
left
guard.
guard.
All right. Number 21, back to RJ and the 49ers. Another
I
luxury
don't know,
pick.
man. I don't know, man.
Let's
So they would
see.
have already taken a tackle and a corner here.
Yep.
Yeah.
If he wants to get rid of Kittle, he could go get tight end. Hamels and Trout are still there.
I think another offensive lineman.
I think the rest of his O line was pretty good. No,
Oh,
Yeah,
he
and
might
again,
need
he
another
could look at
linebacker.
interior defensive line as well.
Oh yeah.
is there another D
Yeah.
tackle you would have this early? Maybe that left end Bobby Donnelly look. I mean, he's kind of like a nose,
Yeah,
or at least he has the skill set of a nose.
he's like Blackshear that I had drafted last year as an end,
Yeah.
but moved to
He's
DT.
pretty fast, pretty strong. If he's playing in the interior, he's pretty good for that. Really good
Stevenson,
Honestly,
pursuit
Stevenson if you want
tackling.
a pass rusher.
Matt Taylor,
What's his position?
He
defensive tackle.
he's defensive tackle.
I don't. I don't know.
He's
I
fast, not
mean,
particularly strong, not a great run
But he has a
defender, but
great. He's a great. What he is a finesse defensive tackle pass rusher,
I think
and
he's kind
he's
of
good
one
at it.
dimensional like that though.
yeah,
But
He's
they
not
have
really
Hargrave to be another block shedder.
he's not really like that kind of early down guy you want. Like, he's kind of like Kalijah Cansey in that he
yeah.
comes off as kind of like a situational pass rusher for third down.
Yeah, it's a luxury pick. I think he has a lot of upside.
So who does he have? Does he still have Javon Hargrave there?
Yeah.
Does he still have
Hargrave's
Armstead?
good. No,
Yeah.
Armstead's gone.
Hargrave's
Who's his
open.
backup there?
Harvey is the number 2.
Who's the number one?
Roy Theory, who was the rookie last
Like
year.
Fury. Okay, they look pretty good at D tackle to me in that case. So probably not Donnelly. I don't think they would go D tackle in this case. I think their O line is good, assuming they go ahead and get Schaefer with the earlier pick. Kittle is going to be like a 10 million in savings next year. I think they could still go tight end here, especially if they're looking to potentially move Kittle out into the slot on some plays. The rest of the receivers, they're like Danny Gray's fast, but he's not really going to be winning a lot of like contested catches. Like he's all right at it, but
Yeah, and Debo's
he's
gone.
not like the difference maker like
Debo's
that you
gone.
want in your like
No, the
11
thing is that
personnel.
what he needs is another receiver to catch crosses.
Yeah, he does. He does love his drags and crossers.
So like,
So
does any receiver do that?
So he's
There's no receivers I would like for that,
no.
regardless of whatever his strategy
Yeah.
is. But I mean, he does still occasionally like to run the ball with McCaffrey. He had a really nice play with McCaffrey last year.
Yeah.
I
Let's
think
go. Let's do Hamels then. Let's just do Hamels. Hamels is going to be a weapon no matter where. And
he's going to
just
be a
good.
future starter at tight end regardless.
Yeah, Hamels.
Yeah.
Kittle's
Yeah.
not going to be there forever.
All right. Number 22. Back to yours truly in the Bengals. Bengals took Weaver at defensive tackle at 13. and that leaves other needs being tight end, cornerback. They could use a nickel guy,
I
and
don't
they've
know.
only got one tight end on the roster as we speak.
Well, they
Oh,
do still have Telvin Richardson as a pretty decent nickel. Marcus Johnson is a good dime corner. I think they're pretty. Personally, I think they could do well with corner as they currently have it. I
yeah,
mean, they got
same.
Kyle Duggar and Daryl Jackson at safety. I kind of like Lane Trout as a possible tight end option here.
Agreed.
If
Trout's good.
assuming that tight end is a need here.
Well,
Yeah.
he only has one tight end, and I think Lane Trout provides a different type of tight end.
Yeah,
All right.
I think Lane Trout's pretty good.
I do not hate that pick. All right, little run on tight ends. Moving back to Link and the Chiefs at 123. Chiefs took DT Street at 16. So that leaves us looking at maybe corner, maybe safety, or another option that I clearly didn't see.
I think the top three tight ends would be off the board at this point.
I think it's like those like four good ones though.
Who was the fourth one? Because Hamels is gone, Trout's gone, Barber's gone.
Bernie Porter.
Yes, Porter. He was the one that ran sub 4.5.
Yeah,
That he
Porter's like a
did.
slot too. Porter can play slot.
Which helps in the wide receiver need, especially if he
Yeah,
wants to, because
He does look pretty good.
he did just
I think
trade
I'll
for
go
a power
Porter.
back, so he might be wanting to run the ball. He's got Pacheco and Skandrick now in the backfield.
And his Porter's blocking isn't bad.
It's not great
It's not
either,
great, but
but
it's not bad. It's
it
good
could be good
enough.
for zone running.
Definitely
Yeah,
good if he's playing in the slot though, because he's
yeah, I think
That
Porter.
blocking
is true. Yeah,
corners and safeties. So go Porter.
Yeah,
yeah, I can
Porter.
see that.
Tight end run.
Yeah, that is a run of 3 tight ends.
Four.
Bills.
There's good tight ends.
Thiss,
Bills.
another good friend of mine from Xbox.
Let's see.
Oh, you want some needs here? Another well
Yeah.
built team. Again, you can just keep finding that. Uh, he could use a tight end, uh, but it would be a second tight end, so maybe more the
Yep.
blocking archetype. He could use a corner, maybe some interior pass rush.
I think all the really good tight ends are gone by this point. Not really a good coverage linebacker that he can get.
Right.
At least if he wants like a more well-rounded kind of guy for run stopping, because Dorian Williams is good at defending the pass, but he's kind of like a
Yeah.
safety in the linebacker spot. He's not really good at stopping the run. I like his safeties. He did trade Benford already, and he just got Jacorian Bennett back for that, and then has Aaron Robinson as a potential dime guy. They could
Yeah.
add on to that if they
I
want some better insurance.
I think the secondary is like top notch.
I think their
Sect.
secondary is pretty good
I
to
know he
begin
was
with.
also looking to trade one of his guards, so I don't know if he's got any needs on the interior if that happens.
Yeah, he's trading McGovern, but he has two good
Young guys behind
like
him at the
Centers.
same position.
yeah.
I mean, even if he trades McGovern, he could move Mitch Morse out to guard or move Larry Stills,
Yeah.
and he'd still be pretty set. I
I
don't
think
see O line going for
he
first
needs
round.
interior pass rush
Yeah,
because everyone
those are the
behind all of is old. I mean, Matt Taylor, pass rush guy.
Let me see this again. So he has Oliver at D tackle.
And then
Okay,
just
DJ
two
Jones
old.
is kind of all right for it, but yeah, not great. And then Ashawn Robinson's there. So yeah, he could probably go get some
Matt
Matt.
Taylor will get upfield and get the
interior
pass
D
rush.
Yeah,
rush.
he'll automatically be one of the actual fastest true defensive tackles that haven't been converted from
Kind of a
defensive
luxury
end.
pick, but
Yeah.
yeah,
I
I can
mean,
see it.
All right,
with the playoff,
Titans.
they're all luxury.
Shotgun Shiesty, or as you guys know him, Astonisi. Titans. They could use maybe some tackle help. I know they signed, I think, Jonah Williams at right
They
tackle.
did.
From
They
my
did.
personal experience, that is a poor choice. You could also go cornerback, safety. You could use some secondary help. Maybe he's the first guy to take a wide receiver, but I'm guessing no.
I
I don't
think his
think there's a
secondary is
receiver in
fine.
this group that I would take in the first round.
I don't think there's one
His,
I'd take in the
his
first day.
secondary is fine.
Well, the first round is the first day.
Yeah,
No,
Um,
like the whole second day. My bad. Excuse me.
yeah.
right. Um, yeah, other than receiver, it's a pretty well built team. It's kind of hard to say who you would get
Edge
here.
depth? Edge depth. I can see edge depth going.
I mean, his edge rushers are already really good.
Yeah, but
Trey Hendrickson's only
his
30.
third
Landry's
his
only
third edge
29.
his third edge is not good.
Epenez is not bad. He's got 82 power moves. He's pretty good early down guy. I don't hate him. I think he's good.
Well, who would you go with?
I would go with. I think he'll want. We got Marcus. Did Marcus Wallace go? I think he went, right?
Marcus Wallace, I believe he did. The edge
Yeah.
rusher.
Yeah.
Yeah, he went.
Let's see.
Yeah, he went at 8.
Yeah.
Yeah, the problem with looking up the edges is you got to look at left end, right end,
Yeah.
LOLB, ROLB. Frustrating.
I think Jimmy Cooks,
Jimmy does cook.
like he's a good tackler. He's good at everything.
I'm gonna have kind of a surprise pick here. Call me a shock jock for this one, but I kind of like Garrison Tuck, the running back. Given that he can't really get much of a receiving threat from the actual receiver class, and his tight ends are good, I think Garrison Tuck is a guy that he could put out as a potential slot receiver and a guy on empty sets. He runs pretty good short routes, good medium routes. Better kind of like eluding moves compared to most of the group. As far as running backs go, they're only C's, but they're a lot of the running backs don't really have good juke or spin moves. He has good awareness. He can actually make some pretty spectacular catches. Um, and Khalil Herbert and Tyjae Spears, they're good at actually running the ball, but they're not really that kind of true receiving threat that maybe he might want. And I think Garrison Tuck is probably the best receiving back in the group. I think he could go with that.
Not gonna lie, I like your take there. We're gonna go with Tuck to
No,
the
actually
Titans.
agree. I agree. After you said that, I agree.
Nice. Ramos jumping on board. 26. That would be Matt and the Vikings. Vikings, another well-built team. They could go corner. They could do interior line. Kind of a theme here. And again,
This is
maybe they
interior
find
line.
somebody to put next to Addison and Jefferson, but I'm
Oh,
guessing not.
he needs interior defensive line. Justin Jones is meh. Is just a meh guy.
Yeah, he's
He's
mostly a
not.
bridge kind of D
Yeah, he's
tackle.
not.
Dean
He's not.
Lowry's pretty old
He's not
too.
good at. Jones is not good at anything. He's okay at everything.
I mean, he's 78 block shots, nothing to
But he has
joke about.
84. He has 84 strength.
Maybe this is where you see Donnelly.
Yes.
I could see Donnelly here definitely.
Donnelly.
Yeah,
Yep. 100%.
Yeah, I like Donnelly there.
he'll be good anywhere on that line.
Yep.
Let's see, he's left end, and then number 27 back to Tonto and the Falcons. He somehow managed to get my pick. Must have been
So he
from the
has.
Bucks.
So he'll have gotten Cobb by this point. He'll have gotten Marcus Wallace.
Yep.
So he'll be good for corner and edge. And then what
Tight
were our
end.
other needs
He
here?
needs a tight end.
I don't know if there's another tight end I would have in the first round here. I think all the
I
best ones are gone by this point.
I would.
Like, if he was
I'll-
to take one, there's probably one that could start ahead of Glenn Carpenter, but
I
I
think
mean, Glenn Carpenter's
I'll-
superstar.
I think
Another
Tab.
lineman that's available.
He does need
if
a
he-
center.
yeah, he does need a center. There's some good centers. Devontae Gregory.
Yeah, I can see that.
Because he was going to be the first center off the board before we switched to guard, so let's go him.
What do you think, Bader?
You didn't like Kramer, the tight end?
I like him, but he has no center.
Let me see Kramer, because you could make just the
Kramer's
safest.
good. He just has no center at all.
Little older. He's one of the faster guys. Oh,
Kramer's fast, but his route running isn't good.
unless
He
you
has
like,
good deep running.
yeah,
Like it's all right, but his F short route, that's usually a red flag for me. I wouldn't make that pick. He is also not a good blocker.
yeah, not a first rounder for you. All right,
He's
so
maybe a second rounder, not a first rounder.
So
who
Devonta Gregory is my pick. The
center
center. Yeah.
Yeah, I would say him.
concur? All right, Cheeseheads Packers.
Packers. They're a pretty good team, I would
Yeah,
think, right?
solid roster. Maybe an offensive lineman, a tackle, maybe a safety. He could go tight end. That's what I
I
had for
can,
needs. Not a lot.
Yeah, his receiving group's really good. Honestly, tight end's fine in my opinion.
tight
He's
end a
got
tackle.
he's got a lot. He's got Zach Tom that he could move over to the right side.
Yeah,
I think
but
he's
Tom's
honestly fine.
okay. Tom is 80 strength. Tom is not holding up.
I'm not particularly worried about that. If I'm like, I think Zach Tom is already really set. Like he has 90 pass block finesse, 83 pass blocking, and still 78 pass block power. I think he'll be fine. The only thing I really see him struggling with is maybe the run game. But I mean, he has Rasheed Walker for that if he really wants to put him in on the
He
early
also does,
downs.
Packers also doesn't run.
Yeah,
Well,
he has
okay, then Zach
trouble.
Tom's perfect for him.
Yeah,
He could definitely use D line though. I mean, his current defensive end starter is Colby Wooden. I think
Yeah,
that I would call that a hole.
yep, I agree.
So with Donnelly off the board, there would have to be another kind of
uh,
3-4 end that he can get.
yeah. I liked Cooks. Let's see who else did I like. Anybody take Saxton?
Saxton's not off the board though. I kind of struggle to call him a surefire first rounder. I think he could go, but
I mean this
that's
late.
more of an
This is the
edge
end of the
guy,
first.
no?
This is the end
Andy's
of the
young.
first.
Andy's young.
Yeah.
Elite acceleration. Good block shedding.
How about
Second's an edge.
how about
How
Akeem
about
Foster?
what position?
Actually no, never mind. He's not that good.
I'm thinking maybe Lionel Jeffries.
What's his position?
Actually,
Oh,
no.
the right
Never mind.
end.
Yeah,
He's
never mind.
266 pounds. He's not really a 3-4 end. Although there's not really a lot of guys that are really going to be this good early. It's hard to
And
really
if he
say.
ends up having to
Akeem Foster.
play outside, he
Akeem
is not fast.
Akeem Foster.
It's the only thing with him, like he has good block shed and like pass rush ability. I do kind of worry about the play rec, but I mean he does have really good physicals. I think maybe he could be
Yeah,
coached up.
for sure.
Where's he at?
He's a
Defensive
defensive
tackle.
tackle.
Run
Oh,
stopper archetype.
I would call it a little bit of a reach, but given that it's his only real need, I think it's probably fine.
Foster at DT.
Yeah. And then basically just pop out to the inside.
All right, we'll go
And
Seahawks 29. Seahawks, another well-built team, tight end, a couple of corners. Like I literally couldn't find anything they needed. So go
Probably a
back to
corner he could get.
corner.
go
Corner.
back to that well.
Eric Teague.
Teague's not going, then yeah, Teague.
There's so many. Yeah, Teague's your all-around.
Yeah, you're gonna have to
Yeah.
make that corner class weak next year.
Yeah, I like Teague I had Teague up higher, so I think Teague goes here.
All right, Teague. Next is our original gilded champion, Goof Cat with the Ravens at number 30.
I
I think it would be fair for you guys to try and guess this one for me first.
Let's see. Who did
I
I think? What did I think you needed? Defensive tackle. You had mentioned halfback. I thought maybe a guard, tight end.
I would say most likely I don't think it's a secret that I'm looking for some O-line help here. If not,
yeah,
maybe a pass catching back.
I think
Yeah.
O line. There's a lot of O
Uh,
line.
Collins is still available. He's pretty all around.
Colbert. Is Colbert right tackle?
Colbert looked pretty good.
I think you go
Prob-
Colbert.
the problem with Colbert is he's huge and he doesn't have very good lead block. So if you're moving him inside,